Hello, everybody. Heavy Hammer Bushcraft, Heavy, back again. Finally, I got some sun and clear skies for a little bit here. Not enough where I'm going to do an overnight tonight because we're supposed to have some bad storms rolling in again tomorrow and possibly, I think, early in the morning. So, plus, I've got to work tomorrow. Um, but I got a decent day, so I wanted to come out here and, find a good site, kind of go over. I'm going to turn the camera around here in just a second and show you guys what I've picked out here and kind of go over like setting up for, a fire pit basically, because that's really all we're doing today is just getting it set up and ready. Um, I'd like to think this is a pretty common looking area. It's still not more than 100 yards from my house, which again, that is the point. I don't want it to come across like you need 100 acres of woodlands to be able to come out and do this stuff. So, I'm just maybe 100 yards from my house. I mean, my barn is right there. So, but I wanted to come out and at least kind of go over what you need to do, set up a decent fire pit, or set up so you can have a decent fire pit if you're going to make a location in your yard or something where you can do this. And yeah, just kind of go over that a little bit. I am going to be probably, I think, next week. Yes, next week it is, I believe. I'm going to be taking a trip um, up to a little preserve I know, and I'm going to be taking at least one night, possibly two, doing some camping up there. I'm going to do one night in my truck. Like, just I've got a tent in the back of my truck. I'm going to do a tent camp, truck tent camp, and then I may, depending on how things go, I may find a hiking trail and go out and do a backcountry. We'll see how that goes when I get there. But yeah, for now, we'll see. We'll see how populated it is up there, what the weather's like, and all that. I don't know if I'm going to get 2 days of sunshine back to back. It doesn't seem like it's going that way this year, but well, you never know. You never know. So, I mean, basically, what I've got here, I mean, this is a spot on my property where there's a lot of cedars. There's a dead one directly behind the camera that has fallen that way, so I've got some firewood to start with. Um, I've got one right here over my head that's still alive. It's got green all the way up it, and I've got a couple other trees over here that are still alive. Not don't have to worry about any deadfall or anything. But so the one thing you have to worry about, especially if you've got woods like this or pretty much anywhere really, if you're going to have a fire pit, which you're not going to go camping and not have a fire, right? Like, what's that all about? Um, your ground where you're going to have your fire. Uh, it's really easy for sparks to jump and catch dead grass and dry leaves and stuff like that. So you need to take a few minutes before you ever think about lighting a fire and just kind of clean it up. Just straighten it out, get some stuff away from the general area, decide where you're going to have your shelter, where you're going to have your fire. Doesn't take long, doesn't take but a few minutes. But I wanted to go over it because, you see people make fire pits all the time. You see people make fire all the time. And a lot of times they don't go through the setup of like actually looking at strategically how to put a fire pit down and how to prevent yourself from starting a forest fire. You know, so I figured I would do that right quick, and yeah, I don't think it's going to take too long. This is a pretty decent little spot right here. There's some dead fallen stuff on the ground here near me that I want to get rid of, and yeah, hopefully that should be fairly quick. But I'm going to move the camera back. We're going to do this in a couple of takes, and I'm going to try editing one of these before uploading it rather than just doing it in one solid shot. So yeah, we'll be right back. We're going to try that. Like I said just a second ago, you can see, I mean, I've got some deadfall here. I mean, you don't want to get rid of this. This doesn't need to go away necessarily. So we're just going to put it over there. There's a tree that came down because this is still good wood. We can still burn that. It's a little punky, but not bad. And we're just going to kind of try to check things out, pick things up, make sure there's nothing too crazy laying around here. It's going to catch fire. Some pine cones, good kindling, good tinder work. But once you got yourself a campsite and you kind of got an area picked up, I'm thinking probably right here is going to be my fire pit. And I'm terribly out of frame, and I'm sorry for that. But right here is probably going to be my fire pit, and my shelter is going to be tucked back just right there, just under the actual trees. But I don't have to worry about anything falling on me here. I'll show you what I got. Right about there is going to be the shelter. And let's see. Can I get everything in frame? That would be nice. That'd be really nice. And like right here, this is probably where my fire is going to be because I've got a little bit of overhead coverage, but I'm not going to have a big raging huge bonfire. I'm just going to have a small little fire, just maybe cook a little bit of food on. So I just want to take a minute, use my shoes and kind of kick some of this stuff out of the way, make sure it's a little bit more bare than it is currently. Now, when I actually do come out here to do this, I will obviously bring an e-tool or something like that with me so that I can dig a little bit of a pit. Because here, at least on my property, I don't have a lot of like rocks just laying around on the surface that I can use for, fencing on a fire pit. So, ooh, that onion grass. Mm-hmm. Tastes like garlic. So, I don't have really the necessary ability to like bank up a fire pit with rocks. So when I come out, I will bring an e-tool and dig this down just a little bit. You don't got to go down crazy far, and you don't got to clean out stupid far around it. Because again, you're not going to have a big, massive fire. You're not going to have some big, huge bonfire. This is just a small camp. One night, maybe two. You need something that's good enough to cook a little bit of food on, stay warm, have some entertainment. Because, there's no greater entertainment for man than poking a fire with a stick. So that's more or less what we got right here. And if all goes well, hopefully, very, very soon, we'll be able to get out here and do at least, balance, at least one overnight. Get the tent set up and everything else. Like I said, the tent's going to be right there pretty much behind me. Clear overhead. There's nothing dead going to fall on me. There's no big piles of brush or nothing around that I've got to worry about. So I think it'll be a good location. It's quiet here. Like I said, I'm only 100 yards from the house. I do have neighbors that live out that way, but they keep themselves. They stay out there, so that's not a big deal. And I don't have anything to worry about here. I'm not in anybody's line of fire where there's shooting guns, because that does happen occasionally around here. But I'm in a good location, I think, and I think this is going to work out pretty well. But I wanted to come out and at least show you guys what I just did here. Like I said, I didn't do much. Let me get the camera around. I didn't do much. I just kind of more or less kicked the dirt out of the way right here. I'm going to kick the loose stuff off the top, get it down to the dirt, mark myself out where I want things, because I'll probably forget by then. But got a little bit of a spot cleared. Like I said, I'll bring an e-tool with me when I actually come out here to do the camp. And I'll dig down maybe an inch or two in this spot right here. Use the dirt that I dig out just to bank it a little bit, because I don't have rocks floating around on the surface here that I can, use to bank it up. But yeah. It's a key thing to remember, though, is always kind of try to clear things out. Pay attention to, some people say you really got to pay attention to the underground roots and stuff like that, because they'll catch fire and burn and burn and burn and burn. Well, with a regular campfire in most normal conditions, you don't ever really have to worry about that. They're not going to burn down, unless you're sitting on top of like an 8-inch root that's dry and rotted, then it might burn. But unless you've got like a Dakota fire hole or something that's going to get crazy hot and actually have the flames coming up to the roots, you generally don't have anything to worry about. Because if you're worried about burning a fire on top of roots, you're never going to be able to light one. It's just that simple. You're not. So got a little spot dug out. Like I said, I'll clear up there. When we come out with the tent, I'll clear a spot right there for my tent. So I'm probably going to tent camp it here. I might build a shelter. We'll see how it goes, depending on what the weather looks like and all that. And yeah, I think that's about all we got. But I wanted to show you guys that, at least show you that I'm trying to do something, if the weather would ever cooperate here. And next week we'll have something from the other spot I'm going to, my tent camping, or my truck camping trip. And put out some content here, hopefully more than every 3 weeks, if the weather ever starts to cooperate. So yeah, that's all I got for today, though. Just wanted to demonstrate that to you guys. And if you got any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free, like, subscribe, and all that noise. And we'll see you guys in the bush.